Hey, this is Chris Jericho of Fozzy, and you're on BackstageAxxess.com, where the real show begins and the party never ends. Woo!
BackstageAxxess.com. We're here in Rochester, New York with world champion wrestler, New York Times bestselling author, and most importantly, frontman of Fozzy, Chris Jericho. How you doing, Chris?
True backstage access. You're really backstage, man. You're enjoying the lovely
the
backstage
ambience of me sinking into the couch.
Though, like the couches backstage, there must be some kind of a rule that they have to have been made before 1976. I just did an interview with Rob Zombie the other day at Carolina Rebellion. We were laughing about how the couch was really nice in 1965. So this is kind of the same. It's got that go to your grandma's house type of a vibe to it. So this is the backstage palatial area for Fozzy tonight.
This is where it all happens.
Where it all happens or doesn't happen is more like it. So
Fozzy, I believe, and correct me, has never played the Western New York area. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for Uproar 2 years ago, I believe we played up in Syracuse area.
It's more central, but
okay,
actually,
so yeah,
this,
Rochester and
this is the
Poughkeepsie
first time for
and
you guys in this
Buffalo
area. Yeah.
This is a first, yeah, absolutely.
So I personally have never seen the band. I'm looking forward to check you guys out tonight. And for the fans out there, you guys are really going to be promoting Lights Go Out. That's a new single that's kind of hasn't been released, but Loudwire is giving you an exclusive right now. If you want to go check out Loudwire on
yeah, well, it's on iTunes as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's just starting to get rolling. When you put out a new single, it goes that way. You know, it starts with the radio stations will do their cage matches or keep it or break it or whatever it is, and then then it picks up some steam, and then rock radio gets a hold of it. So now all that's kind of in the works, and it's been about a week and a half, and it's been going through the roof so far. So far so good.
And how long did it take you guys to write the album, and who produced it? You want to give some information?
Well, the new record is called "Do You Want to Start a War," and that'll come out in July.
Okay.
The song, of course, like you said, is Lights Go Out. That's just the single. Produced by Rich Ward.
Okay.
Written pretty much by Rich Ward with some lyrics by Jericho. And Lights Go Out was written by Rich and Johnny Andrews, who's done a lot of stuff with Hailstorm. And he's kind of a songwriter extraordinaire. So Rich and him got together and did Lights Go Out, which turned out really good, a little bit different for us, which is what we wanted. We kind of find that a lot of bands on rock radio have a similar sound. You can't discern one band from the next unless you read the who it is on the screen. So we wanted to do something a little different, and we have a lot of influences. I mean, we love Maiden and Priest, and we love Bullet and Avenged, but we also love Pink Floyd and Queen and U2 and Zeppelin and the Beatles and bands that would always kind of change their sound but still keep it true to who they were, but there'd be different kind of influences involved and sounds involved, and that's what we did with Lights Go Out. It's a real different song, but it's still heavy, it's still dark, but it's very catchy, very hooky,
very melodic. Yep.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's the only song that I know of that debuted in a Las Vegas club, in the biggest club in Vegas called Club Tao, as a dance song, and it debuted on Octane on the same day. So it's got it could be I call it like heavy metal dance club music.
Could go either way.
You can hear it at both, right?
So definitely check it out. It's online and it's on iTunes and
buy it.
Yeah,
Don't
for sure.
steal it.
Carolina Rebellion, you guys just played a very short time ago. Bigger festival is going to be happening next week that actually we're going to be a part of, Rock on the Range, and this is your first time going to be playing Rock on the Range.
Yeah, it's the first time we got to play a lot of those festivals. I mean, we did a couple in Florida, welcome to Rockville and Jacksonville, and one in Tampa, and then Carolina Rebellion, which is a show that we wanted to play for years. Same with Rock on the Range. And Rebellion was just off the charts. It's one of the best shows we've ever had. It was really, really special. And we were on right after Volbeat and right before Rob Zombie. And there's 3 stages.
Oh, that's a great,
1, 2, 3.
That's a great slot to be
We were
in.
a little scared, though, because it's near the end of the night. And, here's the stage, and here's our stage. So we were worried, were people going to go just from here to here, or would they come by ours? And it was packed. There was about 15,000 people there, and they were rocking. And it was just as dusk was coming down, so it was just a really cool night. And it was great to see, festivals like Rock on the Range and Carolina Rebellion. I mean, this is something that happens in Europe and the UK every summer. Now it's just starting to become a tradition here in the States. And it's a great experience for everybody because you get to see a lot of bands that you love and a lot of bands that you might never heard. But people go to those shows with an open mind and wanting to see as many bands as they can. And that's how you can really gain a new fan base from it.
And you have you're a music fan yourself and do interviews. You talk about doing the interview with Rob Zombie at Carolina Rebellion.
Yeah.
Talk is Jericho is your podcast, and
Yes.
that's where you kind of do most of your interviews for and whatnot. Tell us about the podcast and give us a little lowdown. I think it's like twice a week.
Yeah, it's twice a week on podcast1.com or on iTunes. And it's just, I mean, it gives me a chance just to get a chance to talk to my friends, basically. I mean, a lot of times you see guys backstage for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and it's cool. But when I do my show, you get a good 45 minutes to really dig deep and have cool conversations. And, I mean, my show is not a wrestling show. It's not a music show. It's a pop culture show that has everything. And I think in the last couple weeks I've had everybody from the WWE World Champion Daniel Bryan to William Shatner to Sebastian Bach to Howie Mandel to Michael Sweet to Rob Zombie to Vinnie Paul to Phil Esposito. Like anybody that I can think of that I think will be interesting, I have on the show. And it's been going really, really good. It's become a huge hit. Number 1 in 7 different countries on the different, iTunes charts. And that's because I just want to make it my show where if I have someone on it, you have to trust me that they're going to be interesting, whether you know who they are or whether you don't. And people are starting to come to that realization, which is really cool. Favorite
person you interviewed and least favorite you interviewed?
For my podcast? For
your podcast or in general for anything that you've worked before?
Well, I mean, Shatner was awesome because he's such a legendary figure and such a really interesting guy. And, we didn't really talk about the cliched subjects like Star Trek. I mean, you delved into it a bit, but he was just a really cool, interesting guy to talk to. I had Eli Roth, who directed Hostel and Cabin Fever, and he was in Inglourious Basterds as an actor. His stories were amazing. That was a great podcast. From wrestling, probably Chavo Guerrero. We got some pretty heavy stuff with him, which were great episodes. And then musically, Sebastian Bach was amazing. There's some really cool stories. Vinnie Paul, who has not aired yet. I just taped his interview last week at Carolina Rebellion. Well, that was really deep, too, as you can imagine. Got into some really serious subjects.
Yep.
So least favorite, I've had fun interviewing everybody, but at least favorite kind of celebrity that I had to do some work with was Al Sharpton when he guest hosted Raw a couple of years ago. It was actually up in Albany. Is Albany Northern New York?
It's Central.
Okay, so we've played
Central.
Albany a few times, but yeah, he guest hosted Raw and just did not want to be there and didn't care and didn't really know what to do or really want to know, and it was really pulling teeth with him. So hey, nothing against Al Sharpton as a civil rights leader or whatever he is, but as a guest host and as somebody you have to work with, drizzling shits.
You have a TV show. Obviously, you're all over the place. Sci-Fi Robot Combat League. Is that what?
Yeah,
it's
well,
called?
that was last year. It was a show I hosted with, like, literally real life giant fighting robots. And you think, like, what? These things could literally kill you. They had 2,000 pounds per square inch punching power, and if it hit you in the face, it would kill you. So combine that with, Surrey. Where's the Rochester Armory, Surrey? And it'll tell you, Rochester Armory. Well, you're in it right now. So take the mind of Surrey and stick it into the body of the robots that could kill you, and pretty soon we've created Terminators. So yeah, it was an interesting show, but that was a few years ago.
Wrestling fans out there want to know, obviously you're a world champion wrestler. You've been in and out of WWE. Any type of talk about you possibly doing anything again with them, or is that somewhere down the line after Fozzy?
Well, I mean, the thing is, the priority for the last 4 or 5 years has been Fozzy. Right. We've been really busy. I mean, on the last tour for Sin and Bones, we did 17 countries. We played 160 shows. We took some time off to record the record, and now we're getting back, with the new record about to come out in July. So it's not a matter of not wanting to or having any issues on my end or on the WWE's end. It's just a matter of scheduling. Mm-hmm. What's good for me and what's good for them. I mean, they're not just sitting around waiting for Chris Jericho to wave my magic wand to go, I'm ready, guys. It has to be right for both sides. And when that time is right, I'm sure we'll get together and work together again. But in the meantime, there's definitely no shortage of activity, especially on the Fozzy front and the podcast. I just wrote my third book that comes out in
And
October.
I was going to ask you that about the third book.
Yeah.
You keep on writing these books, and how is this one going to? Is it a continuation
Yeah,
from the autobiography?
it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
It's like the Return of the Jedi for the first two, if they were Star Wars and Empire. And I mean, I just had a really cool life as far as a lot of interesting stories, a lot of ridiculous things that happened. So, if you like the first two books, you'll like this one. It's part wrestling, it's part Fozzy, it's part Hollywood, it's part just life in general. So. I enjoy writing. It takes a long time. It's a big undertaking to write a book.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe I've written 3 of them because it takes. It takes a good 8 or 9 months to get through them, from soup to nuts, because there's constant rewriting, constant editing, and I do everything myself. I have somebody that I work with as a collaborator, but all the writing that you see from the book to the captions of the pictures to the writing on the dust jacket, all done by Chris Jericho, and because I believe in it. It's my life and my story, so I'm not going to give anybody else the reins to write it for me. I have to do it myself. So it's quite the undertaking, but it always turns out to be good. And I think my books kind of have a really good reputation of being entertaining and fun to read. And this one is if you like the first 2, you like this one.
And I'm sure a lot of people are fitness experts or whatever you want to call them that are they're watching this. They probably want to know, how do you stay fit and how do you eat right on the road?
It's easy. It's not as hard as you think. I mean, you just have to actually try. Mm-hmm. We have a no pizza rule. For our band, as a matter. When people want to bring you food after the show, there's no pizza, and you just got to be smart about what you eat. Bring stuff with you, protein shakes and protein bars. We have a griddle on the bus that we cook eggs and bacon in the morning. Keep fruit in the fridge. And as far as training goes, I mean, we usually find a gym every day. Take a shower there, relax. I do a lot of yoga. I don't do a lot of weight training anymore. It's mostly yoga. And that works out good too. And yoga is really easy to do. I can do it in the dressing room. I can do it pretty much on the bus, or at least beside the bus. Find a piece of grass somewhere. So it's just a matter of just adapting to the road life. And I've been doing this since I was 19 years old, so I know how to do it in this day and age, pretty much.
Do you actually own a sports training complex in Florida?
Well, co-owner.
Co-owner,
yeah.
Is Tim Tebow one of those co-owners?
He's one of the co-owners.
All right, tell us how that all came about.
Well, there's a franchise called D1 in Tampa, which is actually all in America and USA. I think there's about 18 to 20 different cities that have D1s, and then they're Division 1 training for all ages, for kids, for ladies, for housewives, for actual football guys. And it's kind of becoming a really cool craze in the areas. And one of the gimmicks that they have is they get local athletes to invest, and they're bringing it to Tampa. And my next door neighbor actually got me into it. So it's me, Derek Brooks, who's a Hall of Fame NFL player, Chipper Jones, baseball guy, and then Tebow was involved because he's from that area, from Tampa area or Florida, and me. But it's not like we all get together and sit down and do board meetings or something. I met him a couple times at the place, and that's about it. But yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to say I'm in business partners with Tim Tebow.
Since your dad was a former hockey player for a long time, and I'm sure you're growing up in Winnipeg, it's second nature to be a hockey fan. Who do you have for the Stanley Cup?
Well, I mean, the Jets did make the playoffs, so that eliminated my interest right away, and then the Tampa went out right away too. So, I mean, I just like good games, man, So, I mean, Chicago's playing good, and the Rangers are my blood, so if the further they go is cool. But I don't really have an emotional stake in it right now. So, how about you?
I'm an Avalanche fan, but I'm out too. So
you're out also, yeah. So it's once your team goes out, it's just let's just watch some good games.
Yeah, I think the Kings are going to take it, but that's
wow, yeah, that'd be cool.
Jonathan Quick, just
well, I mean,
amazing.
You got the Sutter too, Daryl Sutter, man. He's a taskmaster. He gets results. So,
but let's get back to Fozzy and tell us. Obviously the album's going to drop in July. You want to tell them again just the date and maybe future tour dates.
As of right now, it's July 22nd.
Okay.
And we're kind of getting everything organized for the summer. All the dates that we have are pretty much this month in May, all throughout the States, which are some headlining shows, like tomorrow night in Poughkeepsie, and then next night after that in Clifton, New Jersey. Summer shows like tonight with Buck Cherry. We have a whole string of those ones. And then some are the festival shows that we talked about. Yep. And then we head over to England to do Download. We're just doing one show.
That's the show to do if you're going to do a show. That's the one,
yeah. It's our third one, and we got promoted to the main stage for the first time, which is very exciting for us. So, yeah, man, and then then getting all the ducks in a row, and then get ready to unleash. We'll be hitting the road probably more and more in the States than we ever have. Up until a couple years ago, we'd never done a full run of the States, and that's changing now because we have a big fan base over in the UK and in Europe, in Australia. But obviously, we want to really push it in our own country, and we've started that a couple years ago. Got great momentum. We want to keep that rolling, and we're going to do that.
Definitely want to see more Fozzy in the Western New York area, and start tonight by
starting tonight.
Yes, good to check out you guys with Buck Cherry. Check out the new CD in July. Check out the new single.
Lights
on
Go
iTunes.
Out,
Lights
man.
Go Out.
Woo! We'll be
Check
playing
out-
it tonight.
Check out www.fozzy.com.
Fozzy Rock.
FozzyRock.com for any information regarding the new CD and the new single. Chris, man, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. BackstageAxxess.com. Check it out.
Back to you, Bob.
Stop,